The night sky erupted in a brilliant flash as the scout ship tore through Earth's atmosphere. Sparks flew from the craft's hull as it plummeted towards the dense forest below. Inside, Nexara, the young Zarkonian pilot, frantically tried to stabilize her descent, her four arms working in perfect synchronization across the ship's control panels. Come on, she muttered through gritted teeth, her bioluminescent skin flickering with stress. The trees rushed up to meet her, and with a sickening crunch, the ship plowed into the forest floor. Silence fell over the woods, broken only by the hiss of cooling metal and the soft patter of disturbed leaves falling back to earth. Nexara groaned, pushing herself up from the crumpled control panel. A quick self-assessment revealed several injuries, nothing life-threatening, but enough to make movement difficult. She dragged herself from the wreckage, her silvery blood leaving a trail behind her. The alien surveyed her surroundings, her large, multifaceted eyes taking in every detail of the unfamiliar terrain. The air felt thick and heavy in her lungs, and the gravity pulled at her slender frame. "This is bad," Nexara whispered to herself. "Really bad." A rustling in the underbrush caught her attention. She froze, her chameleon-like skin instinctively trying to blend with her surroundings. A figure emerged from the darkness, a bipedal creature with two arms and a peculiar furless face. A human. Dr. Elias Vega had been walking home from his late-night shift at the research facility when he saw the blaze of light tear across the sky. Curiosity got the better of him, and he ventured into the woods to investigate. What he found defied all logic and reason. "Holy shit," Elias breathed, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. Nexara's translator kicked in, decoding the strange sounds into something she could understand. She tried to back away, but her injuries made her stumble. Elias's scientific mind quickly overcame his initial shock. He could see the creature was hurt and clearly afraid. Slowly, he raised his hands in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you. Are you? Are you an alien?" Nexara hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I am Nexara of the Zarkonian Empire. My ship. I crashed." Elias's mind reeled. He was talking to an actual alien. Questions flooded his thoughts, but he pushed them aside. The creature, Nexara, was injured and needed help. "I'm Dr. Elias Vega," he said, slowly approaching. "I'm a scientist. I can help you if you'll let me." Nexara's instincts screamed at her to run, to hide. Everything she had learned about this planet suggested it was a death world, hostile to all but its native life. But she was hurt, stranded, and this human was offering help. "Why?" she asked, her voice a mix of suspicion and hope. Elias smiled gently. "Because it's the right thing to do, and because, well, this is incredible. You're incredible. I have so many questions, but right now, let's focus on getting you somewhere safe and tending to your injuries." Nexara studied the human's face, searching for any sign of deceit. Finding none, she nodded slowly. "Okay, I trust you, Dr. Elias Vega." As Elias carefully helped Nexara to her feet, supporting her weight, he couldn't help but marvel at the situation. Here he was, a simple research scientist, now at the center of what could be the most significant event in human history. "We need to keep you hidden," Elias said as they slowly made their way through the forest. "If the wrong people find out about you, it could be dangerous for both of us." Nexara nodded, understanding the need for secrecy. As they walked, she told Elias about her mission, a routine scouting expedition gone wrong due to an unexpected solar flare. "My people, they think your world is too dangerous to make contact," Nexara explained, "but I'm starting to think they might be wrong." Elias chuckled. "Oh, Earth can be plenty dangerous. But we humans, we're full of surprises. Now, let's get you patched up and figure out our next move." As they emerged from the forest, the lights of Elias's modest home came into view. Nexara looked up at the unfamiliar stars, wondering what twists of fate had brought her to this moment. One thing was certain, her adventure on this Deathworld was only just beginning. Little did either of them know that their chance encounter would set in motion a series of events that would change not just their lives, the fate of two civilizations. As Elias helped Nexara into his home, the first seeds of an unlikely friendship and an interstellar alliance were planted. The soft glow of dawn crept through the windows of Elias's modest home, casting a warm light on the makeshift medical setup in his living room. Nexara lay on the couch, her silvery skin now patched with the earth-toned bandages Elias had carefully applied. The human scientist sat nearby, his eyes heavy with fatigue, but bright with fascination. "How are you feeling?" Elias asked, leaning forward. Nexara flexed her forearms cautiously. "Better, thanks to you. Your medical knowledge is surprisingly advanced." Elias chuckled. "Well, I'm no xenobiologist, but the basics of first aid seem to translate well enough. Your physiology is fascinating, by the way. The way your skin changes color, the bioluminescence, it's incredible." A faint purple blush spread across Nexara's face. "Thank you. I must admit, I find your species intriguing as well. You're so adaptable." The conversation was interrupted by a news alert on Elias's tablet. He picked it up, his expression growing serious as he read. "What is it?" Nexara asked, sensing his concern. Elias turned the screen towards her. "There are reports of an unidentified object crashing in the forest last night. Local authorities are investigating." Nexara's multifaceted eyes widened. "My ship, if they find it." "We need to get there first," Elias said, already moving to gather supplies. "Can you walk?" The alien nodded, carefully rising to her feet. "I think so. But Elias, why are you helping me? You're risking so much." Elias paused, considering the question. "Because this is bigger than just me or you. This could be the beginning of something amazing. And well, I've always believed that science should bring people together, not divide them, even if those people come from different planets." Nexara felt a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with Earth's atmosphere. "You're very kind, Elias. On my world, we have a saying, in the vastness of space, friendship is the greatest discovery." "I like that," Elias smiled. "Now, let's go salvage what we can from your ship before someone else finds it." They made their way back to the crash site, moving as quickly and quietly as possible through the early morning forest. The wreckage of Nexara's ship lay where they had left it, the sleek silver hull now marred and broken. "We need to retrieve the data core and the emergency beacon," Nexara explained as they approached. "And if possible, my personal effects." Elias nodded, following her lead. As they worked to salvage what they could, he couldn't help but ask questions about her world, her people, and the vastness of space beyond Earth. "So, your people think Earth is too dangerous for contact?" Elias asked as he carefully disconnected what Nexara had identified as the ship's data core. Nexara nodded, her hands busy with the emergency beacon. "Yes, your world is classified as a death world in our databases. The gravity, the atmospheric composition, the sheer biodiversity, it's all considered extremely hazardous." Elias laughed softly. "And yet, here you are, surviving just fine with a little help." "Yes," Nexara agreed, her tone thoughtful. "Perhaps our assessment was premature." The conversation was cut short by the sound of approaching vehicles. Elias's heart raced as he realized they were out of time. "We need to go now," he said urgently, helping Nexara gather the last of the salvaged equipment. They retreated into the dense underbrush just as a group of men in dark suits emerged into the clearing, led by a stern-faced woman with sharp eyes. "Agent Sarah Blackwood, FBI," the woman announced, surveying the crash site. "Secure the perimeter. I want every piece of this, whatever it is, catalogued and removed." Elias and Nexara exchanged worried glances. The situation had just become much more complicated. As they carefully made their way back to Elias's home, a plan began to form in the scientist's mind. "Nexora," he said quietly, "I think I know someone who can help us. An old colleague of mine who specializes in advanced propulsion systems. If anyone can help repair your ship, it's her." Nexora's eyes lit up with hope. "You'd do that for me?" Elias nodded firmly. "Of course, but we'll need to be careful. The authorities are involved now, and they'll be looking for anything out of the ordinary." Back at the house, Elias made a secure call to his former colleague, Dr. Amelia Cortez. After a brief, cryptic explanation, Amelia agreed to meet them at a secluded location outside of town. As they prepared to leave, Elias turned to Nexora, his expression serious. "Nexora, I need you to understand something. By helping you, I'm going against my government, potentially risking my career and my freedom. But I believe this is important. The connection between our worlds, it could change everything." Nexora placed one of her hands on Elias's shoulder, her touch gentle. "I understand, Elias. And I promise you, your kindness will not be forgotten. When I return to my people, I will tell them of the bravery and compassion I found on this world they thought too dangerous to approach." With a nod of mutual understanding, the unlikely pair set out into the unknown, their alliance growing stronger with each passing moment. As they drove towards their rendezvous with Dr. Cortez, both human and alien felt the weight of their choices and the excitement of the possibilities that lay ahead. Little did they know that their actions had already set in motion events that would reshape the relationship between Earth and the stars, challenging preconceptions on both sides and paving the way for a future neither could have imagined. The old warehouse on the outskirts of town loomed before them, its weathered exterior a stark contrast to the cutting-edge technology hidden within. Elias pulled his car into the shadow of the building, killing the engine and turning to Nexora. "Remember, Dr. Cortez doesn't know exactly who or what you are. Let me do the talking at first, okay?" Nexora nodded, adjusting the oversized hoodie and sunglasses Elias had given her as a disguise. "I understand. I trust your judgment, Elias." They made their way to a side door where Dr. Amelia Cortez was waiting. Her eyebrows shot up as she took in Nexora's unusual silhouette beneath the baggy clothes. "Elias," she said slowly, "when you said you had something incredible to show me, I didn't realize you meant. Well, I'm not sure what I'm looking at." Elias took a deep breath. "Amelia, what I'm about to show you is going to change everything. Are you ready for that?" Amelia's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Always." Inside the warehouse, Nexora finally revealed herself. Amelia gasped, her scientific mind already racing with questions and possibilities. "This is Nexora," Elias explained. "She's from a planet called Zarkon. Her ship crashed, and we need your help to repair it." For the next few hours, the trio worked tirelessly. Amelia's expertise in propulsion systems proved invaluable as they examined the salvaged parts from Nexora's ship. The alien technology was far advanced, but not incomprehensible to the brilliant human scientists. As they worked, Nexora shared stories of her world and the vast galactic community beyond Earth's atmosphere. Elias and Amelia listened in rapt attention, their perspectives on the universe expanding with each word. "So, your people have been watching Earth for a long time?" Amelia asked, her hands busy with a complex circuit board. Nexora nodded. "Yes, but from a distance. Your world is considered too unpredictable, too dangerous for direct contact." Elias chuckled. "And yet, here you are, working alongside us dangerous humans." "Yes," Nexora said thoughtfully. "Perhaps it's time for a reassessment of that policy." Their work was interrupted by the sudden blare of sirens in the distance. Elias rushed to the window, his heart sinking as he saw a convoy of black SUVs approaching. "It's the FBI," he said urgently. "They must have tracked us somehow." Amelia's face paled. "There's a back exit. We can—" "No," Nexora interrupted, her voice firm. "I won't have you risk yourselves further for me. I'll surrender." Elias shook his head vehemently. Absolutely not. We're in this together now. As the sirens grew louder, Amelia's eyes lit up with an idea. Wait, I have a prototype stealth field generator. It's not perfect, but it might buy us some time. She rushed to a nearby workbench, returning with a small disc-shaped device. With trembling hands, she activated it, and a shimmering field of energy enveloped them and the alien technology. Moments later, Agent Blackwood burst into the warehouse, flanked by armed agents. Her sharp eyes scanned the seemingly empty space, a frown creasing her brow. "Search every inch," she commanded. "They have to be here somewhere." Elias, Amelia, and Nexara stood perfectly still, hardly daring to breathe as the agents moved around them. The stealth field flickered occasionally, threatening to fail at any moment. As one agent passed within inches of them, Nexara's skin began to glow involuntarily, a stress response she couldn't control. Elias squeezed her hand reassuringly, silently willing the agent to move on. After what felt like an eternity, Agent Blackwood's radio crackled to life. "Ma'am, we've got another lead. Possible sighting on the other side of town." Blackwood hesitated, giving the warehouse one last suspicious look before nodding. "All right, move out. But I want surveillance on this location round the clock." As the agents filed out, the trio remained frozen in place, waiting until the last engine sound faded into the distance. Only then did Amelia deactivate the stealth field, all three of them sagging with relief. "That was too close," Elias breathed. Nexara's eyes were wide with a mixture of fear and admiration. "Your technology saved us. I didn't think humans were capable of such things." Amelia grinned despite the tension. "Oh, we're full of surprises. Now, let's get back to work. Something tells me we don't have much time before they realize their mistake." As they resumed their efforts to repair Nexara's ship, a new sense of urgency filled the air. They weren't just working to get Nexara home anymore. They were racing against time to prevent an interstellar incident. Elias found himself marveling at the situation. Here he was, a simple research scientist, now at the center of a cosmic drama. He glanced at Nexara, catching her eye, and they shared a moment of understanding. Whatever happened next, their worlds would never be the same. As the night wore on, the unlikely team pushed themselves to their limits, fueled by a combination of scientific curiosity and the thrill of defying the odds. Little did they know that their greatest challenges and most astonishing discoveries still lay ahead. The first light of dawn was breaking over the horizon when Elias, Amelia, and Nexara finally stepped back from their work. The alien ship, or what was left of it, hummed with new life, a fusion of Zarkonian and human technology. I think we did it," Amelia said, her voice a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. Nexara ran her 4 hands over the ship's console, her multifaceted eyes wide with wonder. "It's not perfect, but it should be enough to break atmosphere and send a signal to my people. Elias, Amelia, I can't thank you enough." Elias smiled, but it was tinged with sadness. "So I guess this is goodbye then." Before Nexara could respond, the warehouse door burst open. Agent Blackwood strode in, flanked by a team of heavily armed agents. "I'm afraid not," Blackwood said coolly. "Dr. Vega, Dr. Cortez, you're under arrest for conspiracy and treason. As for you," she turned to Nexara, "you'll be coming with us." Elias stepped protectively in front of Nexara. "You don't understand what you're doing. This is first contact. We should be celebrating, not treating her like a criminal." Blackwood's expression remained impassive. "This is a matter of national security. Stand down, or we'll be forced to take more drastic measures." Tension filled the air as neither side moved. Then, unexpectedly, Nexara stepped forward. "Please," he said, her voice calm but firm. "I mean no harm to your world. I only wish to return home and share what I've learned about humanity's potential." For a moment, Blackwood's stern facade cracked, revealing a flicker of uncertainty. But before she could respond, a blinding light filled the warehouse, accompanied by a deafening hum. When the light faded, everyone stared in awe at the sleek, silver ship that had materialized in the center of the room. Its hull bore markings similar to Nexara's smaller craft, but on a much grander scale. A hatch opened, and a tall, regal figure emerged. Like Nexara, it had 4 arms and color-changing skin, but its bearing spoke of authority and wisdom. "I am Admiral Zorax of the Zarkonian Exploration Fleet," the newcomer announced, its voice resonating with power. "We detected our scout's distress signal and came to investigate." Blackwood, momentarily stunned, quickly regained her composure. "This is a restricted area. You are in violation of—" "Peace, human," Zorax interrupted gently. "We mean you no harm. In fact, we owe you a debt of gratitude for assisting our lost scout." Nexara rushed forward, quickly explaining the situation to the Admiral in their native language. Zorax listened intently, his expression changing from concern to intrigue. "It seems," Zorax said, addressing the room, "that we have gravely misjudged your species. These humans," he gestured to Elias and Amelia, "have shown great courage, intelligence, and compassion. Perhaps it is time we reconsidered our stance on Earth." Blackwood lowered her weapon, her training warring with the unprecedented situation before her. I need to contact my superiors." "Of course," Zorax nodded. "But first, I believe we have much to discuss. Your world stands on the brink of a new era. How we proceed from this moment will shape the future of both our civilizations." As the tension in the room slowly dissipated, replaced by a cautious sense of wonder, Elias caught Nexara's eye. She smiled at him, her skin shimmering with a mix of emotions. "I told you humans were full of surprises," Elias said softly. Nexara nodded. "Indeed, it seems I have much to report to my people about the true nature of Earth and its inhabitants." Over the next few hours, an impromptu diplomatic session unfolded in the warehouse. Zorax shared insights about the galactic community, while Blackwood, after conferring with her superiors, represented Earth's interests. Elias, Amelia, and Nexara found themselves in the surreal position of mediating between 2 worlds. As discussions progressed, it became clear that this unexpected encounter held immense potential. The Zarkonians offered advanced technology and knowledge of the cosmos, while Earth presented a unique perspective and resourcefulness that had allowed it to thrive on what other species considered a death world. Perhaps, Zorax mused, it is precisely because of your world's challenges that you have developed such remarkable adaptability and ingenuity. These are traits highly valued in the galactic community. Blackwood, who had gradually warmed to the situation, nodded. "And perhaps it's time for humanity to take its place among the stars." As the first official plans for cultural and scientific exchange were laid out, Elias couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and excitement. What had started as a chance encounter in the woods had blossomed into the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. Nexara approached him, her expression a mix of joy and sadness. "Elias, I've been assigned as the official liaison between our worlds. It seems my adventure on Earth is far from over." Elias grinned, his heart light. "Well then, I guess we'd better start planning our next move. After all, we've got a whole universe to explore together." As the sun rose fully, bathing the warehouse in golden light, the unlikely group of humans and aliens continued their discussions, laying the groundwork for a future brighter than any of them could have imagined. The day Earth joined the galactic community had dawned, and with it, endless possibilities. In the weeks following the momentous first contact, Earth was abuzz with activity. The news of alien life had spread like wildfire, causing equal parts excitement and trepidation among the world's population. Elias, Amelia, and Nexara found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of diplomatic meetings, scientific conferences, and media briefings. One afternoon, as they took a rare moment of respite in Elias's now famous living room, Amelia burst through the door, her face flushed with excitement. "You won't believe what I've discovered," she exclaimed, waving a tablet in the air. Elias and Nexora looked up from their work, intrigued. "What is it?" Elias asked. Amelia set the tablet down, bringing up a complex series of equations and diagrams. "I've been studying the Zirconian propulsion systems, and I think I found a way to adapt them using Earth materials. If I'm right, we could have our own fleet of interstellar ships within a decade." Nexora's eyes widened as she examined Amelia's work. "This is remarkable. You've made connections that even our scientists haven't considered. How did you come up with this?" Amelia grinned. "Well, it's like you said, Earth is a death world. We had to become creative to survive here. I just applied that same thinking to your technology." As they delved deeper into Amelia's discoveries, a comm device on Nexora's wrist began to flash urgently. She activated it, and Admiral Zorax's holographic image appeared. "Nexora, we have a situation," the Admiral said, his tone grave. "A rogue faction within our government has learned of Earth's potential. They see your world as a threat and are planning a preemptive strike." The room fell silent as the weight of Zorax's words sank in. Elias was the first to speak. "How much time do we have?" "Days at most," Zorax replied. "I'm doing everything I can to stall them, but you need to prepare." As the hologram flickered out, the trio exchanged determined looks. "We need to warn the authorities," Elias said, already reaching for his phone. "Wait," Amelia interjected. What if we could show them we're not a threat? What if we could demonstrate that humans and Zirconians can work together to create something extraordinary?" Nexora tilted her head, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" Amelia's eyes sparkled with inspiration. "Your people fear Earth because it's different, because we've adapted to conditions they find hostile. So let's use that. Let's combine your technology with our adaptability to create a defense system unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen." Over the next 72 hours, Elias's home became the epicenter of a frantic, inspired burst of innovation. Amelia's propulsion breakthrough was just the beginning. They worked tirelessly, fueled by a combination of caffeine, adrenaline, and the desperate need to save both their worlds. Elias focused on developing a communications system that could penetrate any known shield or jamming technology, drawing inspiration from the way Earth's deep-sea creatures communicate through seemingly impenetrable barriers. Nexora, with her knowledge of Zirconian weaponry, worked on adapting Earth's relatively primitive but highly creative weapons systems into something that could stand against advanced alien technology. As the deadline approached, they presented their work to a joint committee of Earth's leaders and Zirconian representatives. The room was silent as they demonstrated their inventions, a seamless blend of two worlds' technologies that was greater than the sum of its parts. "This," Elias said, gesturing to their creations, "is what happens when we work together. We're not a threat to each other. We're the key to unlocking potential neither of us knew we had." Admiral Zorax, who had been watching the presentation with growing amazement, stood up. "I believe," he said slowly, "that we may have just changed the course of galactic history." As news of the human-Zirconian collaboration spread, the rogue faction's support crumbled. The threat of war dissipated, replaced by a wave of curiosity and eagerness for cooperation from both sides. In the aftermath, as the dust settled and the immediate crisis passed, Elias, Amelia, and Nexora found themselves standing on the roof of the research facility, gazing up at the stars. "You know," Elias said softly, "when I was a kid, I always dreamed of exploring the stars. I never imagined it would happen quite like this." Nexora's skin shimmered with a warm glow. "In all my training, I was taught that Earth was a place to be avoided. Now, I can't imagine being anywhere else." Amelia grinned, throwing her arms around both of them. "Well, get used to it. Something tells me this is just the beginning of our adventure." As they stood there, the enormity of what they had accomplished, and what lay ahead, washed over them. They had not only averted a war, but had laid the groundwork for a partnership that would reshape the galaxy. The stars above seemed to twinkle with new possibility, each one a potential destination in humanity's newfound journey beyond the confines of their death world. Earth, once feared and misunderstood, was now poised to become a beacon of innovation and cooperation in the vast expanse of space. 5 years had passed since the fateful day Nexara's ship crashed in the forest. Earth had undergone a transformation that would have been unimaginable half a decade ago. The skyline of major cities now featured sleek Zarkonian architecture alongside human designs, a visual representation of the symbiosis between the two species. Elias, Amelia, and Nexara stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first orbital diplomatic hub. Below them, the blue marble of their shared home rotated slowly, while above, stars beckoned with the promise of unexplored worlds. "Hard to believe how far we've come," Amelia mused, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Elias nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "From a crash in the woods to this, it's been quite a journey." Nexara's skin shimmered with a mix of blues and greens, a sign of contentment she'd picked up during her time on Earth. And it's only the beginning. The Galactic Council convenes tomorrow, and Earth will finally take its seat. The mention of the upcoming meeting sobered the mood slightly. Earth's invitation to join the Galactic Council had been controversial. Many species still viewed humans as unpredictable and potentially dangerous. But it was precisely these qualities, tempered by the wisdom and technology of the Zarkonians, that had caught the attention of the galactic community. "Are we ready for this?" Elias asked, voicing the concern that had been on all their minds. Before anyone could answer, a holographic display flickered to life in the center of the room. Admiral Zorax, now Earth's strongest ally in the galactic political arena, appeared before them. "My friends," he said, his tone urgent, "we have a situation. The Vrexians have raised a formal objection to Earth's admission to the Council. They claim that the Deathworld species is too volatile to be trusted with galactic matters." Amelia's brow furrowed. "The Vrexians? Aren't they the ones who tried to sabotage the Mars terraforming project last year?" "Yes," Nexara finished. "They've been opposed to Earth's rapid advancement from the start." Elias paced the room, his mind racing. "We need to show them that our Deathworld experience is an asset, not a liability." But how? Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. A voice came over the intercom. "Attention all personnel. A solar flare of unprecedented magnitude has been detected. Impact with Earth's magnetosphere imminent. Brace for electromagnetic disruption." As the station's crews scrambled to secure systems, Elias, Amelia, and Nexara exchanged looks of realization. "This is it," Amelia said, her eyes lighting up with inspiration. "This is how we prove ourselves." Over the next few hours, as the solar flare bore down on Earth, the trio worked feverishly. They combined Zarkonian shield technology with Earth's long experience dealing with solar radiation. Elias's communication breakthroughs allow them to coordinate a global response, while Amelia's propulsion innovations were repurposed to create a magnetosphere booster. As representatives from across the galaxy watched in astonishment, Earth not only weathered the solar storm, but used it to power a planetary shield that would protect the planet from similar events for years to come. In the aftermath, as the Galactic Council convened, the tone had shifted dramatically. Earth was no longer seen as a liability, but as a valuable addition to the galactic community. Elias, chosen to speak on behalf of humanity, stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "Distinguished members of the Council," he began, his voice steady. "5 years ago, we learned we were not alone in the universe. Since then, we've faced challenges that tested our resolve and ingenuity. But we've also discovered that the very things some feared about us, our adaptability, our resilience, our ability to thrive in hostile conditions, are our greatest strengths." He gestured to Nexara and Amelia, standing proudly beside him. "We've learned that true progress comes not from fearing our differences, but from embracing them." The recent crisis showed that when we combine the wisdom and technology of long-established galactic civilizations with the fresh perspective and innovative spirit of Earth, we can achieve the extraordinary. The chamber was silent, all eyes fixed on the human speaker. We don't ask to join the Galactic Council because we think we have all the answers, Elias continued. We ask to join because we have questions, because we want to learn, to grow, and to contribute. Our Deathworld has taught us to never stop striving, to always push beyond our limits. We bring that spirit to the galaxy, not as a threat, but as a promise. A promise of new ideas, new solutions, and a future brighter than any of us could achieve alone. As Elias finished his speech, the council chamber erupted in applause. Even the Vrexian representatives nodded grudgingly, their objections overruled by the demonstration of Earth's potential. Later, as Earth was officially welcomed into the Galactic Council, Elias, Amelia, and Nexara stood together, watching as their planet's flag was raised alongside those of 100 other worlds. "So," Amelia said, a mischievous glint in her eye, "what's our next impossible challenge?" Nexara laughed, her skin flickering with joy. "With you humans around, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough." Elias grinned, putting his arms around his friend's shoulders. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. After all, that's what we do best." As they looked out at the assembled galactic representatives, the trio felt a sense of profound optimism. The journey that had begun with a crash landing in a forest had led to this moment, Earth taking its place among the stars, ready to turn the challenges of their death world into opportunities for the entire galaxy. The future stretched out before them, vast and full of possibility, and they were ready for whatever adventures it might bring.